Hey everybody, it's Nick. Sorry, a little bit late today. I had a crazy morning trying to take care of some of my priorities today. So I made sure I got them done. My time blocking was a little bit off today. My trip, I was grocery shopping, and my trip started a little bit late because we were trying to get some things set up around the house. And then it just kind of cascaded down. And I thought I could be back here by 10 o'clock, and that just didn't happen. So I moved some blocks around on my calendar, and we are after this going to be back on schedule. So I'm very happy to say that the world is not ending as far as my time blocking is concerned. But we're doing pretty well. Had a pretty good weekend. I spent a lot of time putting my kids' basketball hoop together. It is the Lifetime brand, and I thought it was called Lifetime because I figured it would last a lifetime. But what I'm finding is that I think that brand name came from how long it takes to put it together. It takes about a lifetime to put a basketball hoop together. I don't know if any of you have ever done it, but wow. So I got a little bit of a sunburn on my arms yesterday. But all that work, and the kids were like anxiously waiting for me to put it together. And by the time I got it together, they were not interested anymore, so nobody has used it yet. I'm like, come on, man. But things are going, well here. I went out and saw firsthand what the meat shortage looks like. It's definitely like there's meat, just not maybe what you're looking for. So if you're planning on cooking out for Memorial Day, even if you're just staying at home and cooking out for yourselves, you might want to plan ahead. Because I certainly don't want to go to the grocery store when there's a million people there. Not now. I never liked to do it in the first place. But now, yeah, there's not a whole lot there. So before things get picked over, go get it now. Real quick, the meme of the day is this. In 20 years, when kids ask about the 2020 toilet paper shortage, I'm telling them we had to drag our butts across the lawn, in the snow, uphill both ways. Yeah. I love the uphill both ways thing. I feel like I'm the one that made that up. In the 8th grade, I said that, and a lot of guys thought it was a dumb thing to say, but I stuck with it. I really, I thought it was funny, and I'm glad it caught on. So everybody that's taking that, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, today I want to talk about an article that I read in Fast Company. It's about procrastination, because we were sort of talking about procrastination. I believe it was on Sunday, yesterday. And so I ended up finding this article. It's almost like Facebook is watching me, where I talk about procrastination, and then when I'm going through my Facebook feed, an article about procrastination shows up in my feed. It's eerie how that happens. They're not supposed to be listening in through my microphone, but is it happening? I don't know. Maybe it's just the Matrix just giving me what they feel I want. I don't know. If they are listening, I want a Ferrari. I want, so many things. Start with the Ferrari. If the Ferrari shows up anytime in the near future, I will have more things to ask for. So maybe we're not asking the universe for what we want. Maybe we're asking the Matrix. Anyhow, so let's get into this procrastination. I don't want to procrastinate any longer. So the premise of this article is that procrastination is not a time management flaw. It's an emotional flaw. And I sort of agree with that. I don't want to say it's an emotional flaw, but it's an emotional problem is how they mention it. So in my own experience of procrastination, I can relate to a lot of what they're saying here. So I want to get into it. We'll start by defining procrastination. And they define procrastination as a voluntary delay of an intended act despite the knowledge that this delay may harm us. It's very true. And this is kind of the sequence that they talk about. We sit down to do a task. We project into the future about what that task will feel like. We predict that the task will not feel good. It'll stress us out or whatever. Our emotional coping strategy kicks in that keep us away from that bad feeling, and then we avoid the task, right? And so I look at this again because Michael Jordan is right in my mind, along with all of the other people that I see that are highly successful in any part of their lives. They don't avoid things, right? That avoidance of things that make us feel bad. Some people look at what makes them feel bad or look at stress and they say, that's what I need to work on. Or I want to get that over with, right? They have this like get her done mentality where other people, they feel stress, and instead of being like the lobster and trying to grow, they sort of avoid it and try to go on to something that makes them feel a little bit better. All the while, things keep building up, and then it creates this oppressive feeling that causes so much anxiety, and it causes a downward spiral, right? And so that's how I feel that I handled most things in my life. Like the hard things, I would just put off, right, and wait till the last minute, whether it's my homework in high school or college, or tasks at work, or conversations to have with people. The more you put them off, the more you can maintain yourself in a momentary feeling of okayness. But down the road is that oppressive feeling that we feel like we're putting off because we're not connecting our now self with our future self. But it just creates this, like, eventually the chickens come home to roost. You know what I'm saying? So the really successful people take care of things now, the really important things now, and rather than get into that avoidance scenario. I want to check the comments real quick just to see how you guys are doing. Good morning, Amy. Great to see you. Sorry I'm late, but I'm glad I could see you guys here today. Kids actually do walk uphill both ways to school, sis. That must be awful. Are they in the snow? I mean, if you're not in the snow, it's only half as bad. I'm going to start seeing ads for Ferraris. Yeah, right? And they are hitting the wrong customer. But hey, if they want to show me more Ferraris, I will look at them. Then I'll know they're listening. Absolutely. But now they know that I know I'm listening, that they're listening. So now they're not going to show me because they know I know that, it's crazy. Anxiety in itself, let's get back to this conversation about procrastination. Anxiety in itself is the avoidance of a perceived threat, right? So, like, we, in this life we have now, rather than a lion jumping out of us or a hostile army attacking us when we're walking down the road, or like, bandits or whatever, we generally don't have to deal with that now. So, our brains have filled that space with other threats, quote unquote threats, that aren't really threats. And so now we're creating threats out of, simply just doing tasks, things that we may not want to do. And we might tell ourselves, well, I'm just being lazy. But in reality, there's a whole emotional structure going on around us. So, basically with anxiety, how this develops is that, we know that this task that we have in front of us is not going to make us feel good, right? It's going to cause some sort of stress or discomfort, or, we're just not going to like it. So then we turn toward something good, something that makes us feel good. All the while, we then start feeling bad about procrastinating. You start that self-talk about, you're lazy, or why can't you just get stuff done, or what's wrong with you, and like all of this stuff. So it just starts this cycle, so you're trying to feel good, but in the end result is not what we feel good about. And we're going to get to how that impacts, or how we handle that with Define My Day pretty soon here. But so what this person in this article says, what you want to do is three things. Number one, give the monkey mind something to do. So you want to give the monkey mind a task. You want to, rather than just go all over the place, you want to focus on one thing. Number two, you want to explore the feeling. And this is what I was talking about as far as how we deal with it with Define My Day. This is where journaling comes in. And we're looking at the previous day, like the preceding day, and what we did and what we did not do. And this is how you can explore why you may have not done something that you said you should have done. This is not what I'm saying you should do. This is what you identified for yourself as a priority. If it did not get done, why didn't it get done, and explore that feeling, right? Explore that emotion. And step 2 of this person's process is explore the feeling. And remember, it's an emotional issue. It's not that there's a flaw with you or that you're not good at time management. It's just that you are avoiding it, and we need to figure out why, right? In reality, it might not be as bad as we think it is, and we just need to switch how we handle these situations. And then number 3 is, don't look at it as a project. We don't do projects. We do actions. So, and we've talked about this a lot recently, and I think this is gaining more importance in my mind right now, is that when we have these big amounts of things to do, either it's a lot of steps in a big project or it's just a big smorgasbord of things that we need to do in our lives, we need to stop looking at the whole too much, right? It's a good idea to know the direction we want to go. It's good to see the goal, but we need to stop looking at the entire process. We need to look at the step that is right in front of us. And this is discussed in that willpower book that I talked about a couple of months ago, in that, we need to break down for the mind the simple, immediate steps that need to happen to get into, this large project, or to accomplish this goal. And when you stop looking at like this whole big thing, it doesn't seem so oppressive. Like, it's the whole elephant thing. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Like, you don't keep looking at the entire elephant going, man, that's huge. All you do is just take a little bit and go at it. And then tomorrow you take a little bit more in, right? It's a disgusting comparison, but you can kind of understand where we're going with it, right? So stop looking at the big picture. Look at the big picture, touch it once in a while, see it once in a while, pick your head up off the page and make sure you're going in the right direction. But don't keep looking at it every minute of every day, or you're going to get overwhelmed. And then it's going to seem too big, because it is too big for any one person to handle right now. What we want to handle is the one part that we can reasonably handle today. The part that's time blocked, the part that's clearly identified, the part that is what we can healthily, in a healthy way, handle today. And then tomorrow, we pick on the next step, and that's it. And we stop judging how long it's taking us for the entire thing. We're doing what we can today, and we are allowing ourselves some space, some grace, some compassion, that this is the reasonable amount of I can do today, and the bigger project is still out there. I will get to the rest of it as the days go by, right? Now, every so often we're under the gun, emergencies come up, things get more urgent. Yes, it compresses things, it brings them forward, and we have to work a little bit harder, but that needs to stop at some point, right? We talked about it last week. We're up here revving, high revving. Eventually we need to come back down, right? We need to rest. We need to get back onto cruise control so that we're moving forward at a regular, normal pace. So today, focus on that thing that needs to be done today and forget about the rest until tomorrow, when you can take off another piece. Now, they talk about, how willpower fits into this. Is it just a willpower issue? If you're not handling what you need to handle, do you just not have willpower? Do you not have enough willpower, right? And they kind of go more toward the mindfulness thing, but I think there's a close relationship with mindfulness and willpower. I myself don't think I had a lot of willpower early in life. I don't think I had a lot of mindfulness either. I think there's maybe a third part of this group that makes it a triad, and I think it's discipline, right? And maybe mindfulness and discipline are very similar, but I think it's that idea of, pushing when you need to be pushed, and taking care of the details when you need to take care of the details. Doing what you say you're going to do, upholding your commitments to yourself, while also finishing through to completion, right? It's this whole conglomerate of following through, right? Doing the hard things and following through. I think it is mindfulness, and I think there is willpower in there. And I think that, if we are careful to use our willpower on the things that are most important, I think if we're careful to practice and build our mindfulness through meditation, which is something they mention in here as a great practice, people that have a good, healthy, regular meditation routine also seem to procrastinate less in studies because they look at it with less of a like a what do they call it? Like it's a non-judgmental way of dealing with stress, right? They sort of give it up to God in a way. Like when you're mindful, when you can calm your mind down, you're not looking at accomplishing something or accomplishing the small part of a big project. You're not looking at how you handle it in a judgmental way. You're looking at it more with curiosity, and you're looking at it as this is just something I need to do, right? When you take off, you use value to judge what you should be doing, but when you strip away the value as you're doing it, right? Like when you take off the stress and the judgment and the things that are happening as you're accomplishing the task, then it's just something you're doing, right? And if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. You just keep doing it until you get it right. Or you take a break and try again tomorrow. But if you take away all of the craziness that surrounds it, through mindfulness meditation and maybe a little bit of a perspective switch, then you just look at it as this is just something I need to get done today. No matter what the importance is. You could be a surgeon, right? If you go into every surgery going, oh my God, I don't know I don't know, what if I do it wrong? And what if you're that's not the surgeon I want, right? The surgeon I want is the guy that's going in there, or the woman that's going in there saying, this is just something I have to do today, right? Right. They're going to be mindful of the importance of it, but they also know that this is my job and this is just something I have to do today. And you can take that from top to bottom in anything. So it's that non-judgmental, non-critical, non-swirling feeling that you can bring to it when you have a calm, mindful presence about doing something. So that's a very good article. I will post when I finish here the link to this the title is Procrastination is an Emotional Problem by Sam Kemmis. It's in Fast Company on fastcompany.com. It's about a 7-minute read they estimate here. So I will post that for you guys so you can read it. All right, let's get into the comments. Hey, Pamela, greetings from the lab. I see you're not in the user group today. Thank you for everything you are doing. I hope things are going well for you there. Sis, yes, in the winter. Yeah, we go uphill both ways in the snow, but only in the winter. Hello from New York City, B. Cool, that's where my wife was from. I spent a year there. I am not a New Yorker. I do not have New Yorker up here. But I'm very thankful for my wife and hope everybody is safe and healthy up in New York City. Debbie says, good morning and glad you're here today. It's pouring down rain and windy here, so we are rearranging our schedules too. Yesterday, I look at the weather a couple days ago, and this entire beginning of this week was supposed to be a washout. It's gorgeous. It was 75 degrees. I was driving around today with my windows open, the sunroof open. The windows were all open in the house. It's like that perfect 75-degree day, a little bit of breeze. I did get a little bit of a sunburn, but hey, that's okay. What a beautiful day here. I'm sorry it's raining for you. I don't know where you're at. Please do not send it my way. Good morning / afternoon, Janice. Yep, it's afternoon for me. But you West Coasters, anybody out there in the West Coast, good morning. Got here a little late, Anna. What book were we referencing? So I am referencing Fast Company, their website. It's Procrastination is an Emotional Problem. It's an article from last May, but I will be posting the link in the comments here as soon as we log off. I don't have the capability to do it right now. Good afternoon, Lori. Debbie says, I am very diligent about following through for others so I don't let them down or cause them problems. But when it comes to following through for myself, that is a whole different situation. I need to ensure my priorities are given the same importance as those of others. So, Debbie, you are describing something that a lot of people go through. And it's a common human phenomenon. It's why we also have accountability partners a lot of times. It's even why in Define My Day, we specifically mention who else will benefit from my progress this month. Because we tend to be more accountable to our friends, family, other people, even our pets. Sometimes we take better care of our pets than we do for ourselves. And it's a weird human phenomenon that, I don't have, I'm not knowledgeable enough to understand it. I just know that it happens, right? And that can turn incredibly toxic. I know that I've had many toxic relationships based on that. It's my like, I need to feel, the only way I can feel worthy is if I make somebody else feel happy, or make somebody else, like if I prove my worth and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, I'm letting myself down. And that's not okay. And in reality, the healthiest people will see that. The healthiest people appreciate other people that take care of themselves better, right? Because they're doing that. They can identify, they can relate there. So, it's a matter of perspective there. I think it's a matter of connecting your future self with your current self. And I think it's a matter, like, we're raised to be selfless, right? I mean, we're taught it in the Bible, we're taught it in our culture. And it's definitely great to be selfless, but not to the point where we are unhealthy. And in fact, we can bring more to the table when we are healthy. So when we take care of ourselves, when we take care of our own house, our own foundation, we can bring a more useful self to other people. More efficient, we make better decisions. We are more emotionally capable of handling situations. We like a lot of people, especially in the comments, people that are not users. A lot of people comment about having too much to do, and living for their kids. Who has time for that? Or even when we put kids as the number 3 priority, how can you do that? Well, it's, I mean, they're misunderstanding how the priorities are laid out and organized on the page, but also that sometimes the kids are number 3. They might not be number 3 overall in my life, but today they might be number 3 because I have to take care of myself first, right? I need to make sure that I'm healthy, so I'm bringing a healthy me to my family. And understanding that relationship, and understanding that your future you is very much connected with who you are now. And we don't want to get to that point, either a couple of months or a couple of years down the road, where our then current us is looking back on the past us going, man, what did you do to me? So it's very common. You're not alone. And I mean, I still go through it now. I mean, look, if I were completely in alignment with this, I would be probably 40 pounds lighter and in much better health. So it's something we're all struggling with. It's just a matter of identifying it. Like, I need to keep this commitment to myself, that I'm doing this for me so that I can bring a better me tomorrow. Eat That Frog. Yeah, good book. I have not read it, but Lynn read it and said she really liked it. It's in her bookcase, one of those ones that I will get to eventually. Yeah, Lori. Yep, love that book. Good, Deborah. I'm glad. Thank you, and hello from Pennsylvania. Hope you're healthy and happy. We do seem to have traded weather. Yeah, I don't want to give it back. So, like, I'm keeping it. 75 and sunny and breezy, I'm keeping it. You're welcome, Anna. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I will post this article in the comments for you. I hope everybody's happy and healthy. I hope you're enjoying the weather. If you have it, I hope good weather comes to you soon. If you don't, and stay safe, stay healthy. Seriously, I know things are getting a little confused out there, and we don't know exactly what we should be doing all the time. But take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and I'll come back to you tomorrow. Keep moving forward. I'll see you tomorrow morning.